The jury deliberating close to 7.5 hours now. The Joshua Young murder trial. Young man accused of murdering his stepbrother. 7.5 hours. They've ordered dinner, so we know that they're eating. Let me bring in our experts and get their take on what this means. 7.5 hours. Let me go to Ashleigh Merchant, great criminal defense attorney. Ashleigh, 7.5 hours. Is that better for the defense or prosecution right now?
Well, you know, it could go either way, but in my opinion, I think they want to find Josh Young guilty, but I don't think they're going to. And I think they're going through all of the evidence to see if there's a chance that they could possibly get him on any of the charges, on either of the charges. And they're really reaching for that, but I just don't think the evidence is there, and I don't think they're going to get there. But I think that's what they're doing in that room.
Out to the lion's den. They say nothing he says can be trusted, but the dad now says he acted alone. So was it a good idea or for the defense to say, don't believe anything? Ashleigh?
You know, it was, because they've got several inmates that are saying Big Josh said that he did this and said that he coerced his son. So if you don't believe him, you don't believe that either, which throws out a lot of the state's evidence.
Yeah, but if they were back in less than 2 hours, it was going to be a not guilty. There was no way in less than 2 hours they would have said guilty. That's why I'd be a little more nervous if I was the defense than the prosecution. The Lion's Den. Wow, this is my first time in the Lion's Den, by the way. It's not as scary as it sounds. You guys are really smart,
it's not
really
that
nice.
painful.
It's not. You know, and I agree with you. I think a short verdict would have probably been more preferable for the defense, but I do think the jury is just doing their job. And I think that they think that these are two children, and so they think that this case deserves this amount of time and this amount of consideration.
All right, folks, the Lion's Den. Yes, it's not that bad of a place. There they are. All right, we've got a verdict, folks.
Not surprised at all, Vinny.
All right, 8 hours.
Do not ask me what I think it is. Do not ask me that.
No, and I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But what I want you guys
to do with all the dinner they ordered.
You all have been in this position many, many times. Let me begin with the defense and the defendant. What is this moment like for you as an attorney representing someone who's in the rest of their life was in your hands during the trial, and now you know the jury is ready to speak?
It is honestly the highest and the lowest you feel all at one time. You're sitting there and you're thinking and you're wondering, what's going to happen? Am I going to have to catch my client because he's falling down, or am I going to hug him? Are they going to be tears of joy? I mean, you know, usually I'm thinking I need a drink one way or the other because my nerves are just going crazy.
Ashleigh Merchant, criminal defense attorney, 17-year-old defendant. How much of a factor do you think that is for a jury that's deliberating?
It is a huge factor. There is nothing like deciding the fate of a child. And not only do they have to decide if he's guilty, but they have to decide if he can actually form the criminal intent to do this. And it's very hard for someone to look at a child and think that they are that evil and that they need to really be put away for the rest of their lives. So I think that that went into the fact that this verdict took so long. Whatever the verdict is, they thought so much about it because there really wasn't much evidence to review in this case. So I think that the decision that they've made, they took a long time reaching that because of his age. I think that, you know, normally they would double check everything, but I think they triple checked it in this case because he is so young.